Hi friends, Claire from ScrappyNerdUK. So I am going to make a start on updating some of my Vegas to San Francisco travel album. I did a flip through on my channel as to where I am at the moment for that, so you can go back and have a look at that video. But I wanted to show you how I store my ephemera. So these are just, they're A4 clip lock boxes, and then what I do is I gather all the ephemera from my trip, and I put it all in together. And I'm just going to go through this quickly and grab out anything that relates to Las Vegas, because I'm going to start on those layouts now. So I'll show you the bits and bobs that I pick up. I'm not going to use all of this in my album. Some of it's probably going to be a bit too bulky, but these are the bits that I've kept, and I will incorporate some of these. So I've got the flyers from Disneyland, so I'll keep those. Those will go in the Disney photos. Then I've got some packaging from I think this was at Fashion Show Mall in the Pandora shop. I'm not too sure where the UGG one was, but there's some tissue paper there if I wanted to include that. We stopped on the way up to San Francisco at the Brown Butter Cookie Company, and I kept the little sticker off the front of the cookie packet because they were amazing. But those are all later on in the trip. Now, receipts do not keep very well at all. These receipts are usually thermal, which means that any sort of heat will affect them. So if you've ever put a receipt next to a something hot like a toaster or anything, it will go black. So this, if I was to try and laminate this, hot laminate it, then it would just go all black, so it would be no good. The only way to really preserve receipts are to take a photograph and then print them, or you could use packaging tape to cover them. I'm not too sure whether that's going to be too archival over the years, but they will just naturally go really faded, so I don't tend to keep receipts. The only reason I've got receipts in here is just to help me with dates and places where we were at. So Rainforest Cafe is not in Vegas. That's Disneyland tickets. That is that's Anaheim. That's the park. I've already cut the park map up. I think I've already tried to do this, but I think I want to put the park map into a page protector, not into a 12 by 12, but into one of the pocket page ones. I've got a voucher here from Hooters, so I'll grab that out. Cheesecake Factory. Then I have just a load of tickets and stuff from places that we bought from. We've got the boarding passes that will I'll probably just make a little pocket to put all of those in. There's our room ticket thing for the Luxor where we stayed, another Hooters, and then we have Tanger Outlets, which is, we stopped at that on the way from Vegas to Anaheim. That's our car rental. We have a map of, right, that's a map of LA, so I'll need that later on. That was the Hollywood tour. San Francisco. Oh, we had these Twix Santas. They were amazing. Right, that's San Francisco. That's San Francisco. San Fran. That was San Francisco. Got a lot for San Francisco in here. That was LA, Hollywood. Oh, it was our anniversary whilst we were out there, so I kept my card as well. Tuesday morning receipt. A room key for I have God knows where. That's San Francisco. Some napkins from Panda Express, San Francisco. Yep. So these are only a few bits then I've got from Vegas. So I'm going to put the video on fast forward. So what I do now, sorry, is I then have quite a few of these boxes with ephemera in from a few different trips, and then I store them in just like a plastic crate, and then when I come to work on them, I just grab out the box of ephemera, and then I can whittle my way through the stuff that I want to keep, stuff I want to get rid of, and incorporate it in my albums if I want to. So here I am, I'm just going to start with this pocket page spread. So I have done a flip through of the current status of this album so far, and I will try and link that up in the top corner if you haven't seen that video already. So I'm going to work through the front and back of this pocket page, and I'm going to keep it very, very simple. I need to keep the embellishments as flat as possible because the album is already quite full. So although my photos are already in, and it's just the empty pockets that I have now to fill. And what I've actually done is taken the all of the page protectors out of the album that I originally had it in and put it in a slightly wider album. But even then, it's still quite full in that album. So I'm just having to be mindful about the embellishments that I'm adding on to or into my pocket pages, so it doesn't explode, because I don't want to add it into, I don't want to split it into two albums. This is one trip, but we did do quite a lot. So I'm just going through, I'm using an older collection. I'm using Hustle and Heart by Amy Tangerine, and I literally have everything that you saw there is what I have left to work with. So it's not going to be just this collection that I use throughout the album. I'm going to be using just the Hustle and Heart stuff for the first part of our trip, which was Vegas. So these cutter parts are very handy to complete the first part of my project. I end up using all of the paper that I have. I literally end up with the tiniest little scraps left, and you'll see that in later videos. And I've filmed quite a few process videos for this album, and I hope to bring those to you to show you how I go about completing all of this. So that card there just had a globe on, so I have cut the globe out, and I was thinking about using some of these thickers, but I went against it. I don't particularly need a big title on this page, and also they are obviously dimensional, so I avoid using those on this layout. So I do find this little aeroplane sticker. It is a clear sticker, so it will get lost on one of those pattern papers if I just stick it straight down. So I pop it onto some white card and then just fussy cut it out, and then that is going to be added on with the globe. This is the first, I think these are the first pocket pages in my album. There's a couple of layouts. You might have seen that at the beginning of the video. There's a couple of layouts that I've already created that go just before this. But yeah, this is the first pocket page, so I wanted to add all the sort of travel-y theme, like the aeroplane and stuff, onto the first page. And then I use these alphas, which are from Pretty Little Studio, and these are just some flat navy alphas from my stash. I don't have, I can't remember what alphas actually came with this collection, but I think there might have been a white foam one, actually, thinking about it, which I have got, but I'm going to go ahead and use these ones. And a little tip that I do quite a lot is to make my titles all wonky. So these alphas are not quite the same height, so when I was trying to line them up in a straight line, you could see they weren't quite the same size. So by doing this, and you can see that I've got some leaning forward, some leaning backwards, some slightly higher or lower than each other, it just makes it not obvious that they are not the same size. They should be, but they're not. So I'm just going to go through the ephemera that I have left, and I'm just going to take out anything that's that would work, that's travel themed or generic. This collection had bits of like artists' palettes and that apple of my eye that just won't work with the travel theme. So I put those back in, and those can be used on another project. I want one more thing for this, and I have these little bows, and yes, they are dimensional, but that is all that's going to be going in there. I'm not going to add too many of these across my first few pocket pages, so that's okay that I add in a small amount of dimensional items, as long as it's not too much across the whole album. That should be fine. And like I said, the rest of it I'm going to try and keep fairly flat. So I used that favourite memories, and that was from the cut apart sheet, and this little camera is from the embellishment pack. So you do see that I am using foam here as well. This foam is so thin, it's only 1mm thick, so it's not going to create hardly any dimension in the album, but it does lift that camera up enough so it's not all flat on the page. And then I think that whole book of Amy Tan stickers are actually all clear, which is great. Clear stickers are great to use over the top of photos. So I'm just going to use that one there that says loving right now, and I'm going to use it in that whitish area of the photo at the bottom. And then this again was from that cut apart sheet, and it says funny. So I have an issue with jet lag. Whenever I go to the States, I literally just get to the hotel room and I crash. I cannot function. So it's a bit of an ongoing joke, really, that this happens every time. You'll see there I've got this sticker here, which I thought was really apt since we were in Las Vegas, that says sometimes you need to make your own luck. So I've just gone ahead and popped that on a photo on the other side, which I'll be working on shortly. So I'm going to use back to this one here. Sorry, this is slightly off screen, but I'm just going to use this word here that says funny, and I'm going to use my tiny attacher to attach it onto the centre of the photo. So I can get my stapler in one way, but I can't reach it the other way. But there is a hack. You can open up your stapler like this, and then just putting something underneath the photo that's like a foam pad or a bit of cardboard, a bit of corrugated cardboard. You can just push it through and then close the back of the staple up yourself. So that is stapled on. And I'm just going through, I've got this pack of like travel themed, US landmark themed ephemera that I've had for ages. And so I'm just going through that to see what I can use. And there's quite a few bits in there actually, because we've been to New York, so there's some New York landmarks in there. I think there's the Chrysler Building, and there's the Statue of Liberty, which I can use. We've been to Kennedy Space Center as well, so we could use that one. The Vegas sign as well. So there's quite a few in there that I can actually use across my travel albums. Oh yeah, so what I've just done here is I've used that white space on the photo to actually add my journaling. So rather than adding in another a flip or something like that to add my journaling on, I've just used the actual photo, and I've used a Sharpie pen for that. So if you are going to write on photos, and you do need something that can write on slick surfaces, so you can get something called a slick writer. American Crafts make those as well, or you could use a Sharpie pen, that also works. So I'm going to use that piece of ephemera there, the Vegas sign, actually on the middle of the photo, and that's not something that I often do. But the photo didn't really have much interest. It was just a top view from our hotel room looking down into the Luxor Hotel. So I just put that in the middle, and you can still see the rest of the surroundings, and it worked, and I like how it looks. So next, I've got these random 3D stickers from, I think they might be Jolie's Boutique, I'm not 100% sure, but that little round sticker there, I took the foam off the back because it was just making it two-dimensional, and then I just added my own foam tape to it. As I said, that foam that I've got is only 1mm thick, so it didn't bulk out the sticker too much. It says "You are here," that's what it said. So I've just typed up some journaling on my We Are Memory Keepers typewriter, and then I'm going to trim that into strips, and I'm going to stick those down on this the card. So this is quite handy because I've actually used that was one piece of pattern paper that I'm using both the front and the back in the pocket page. So that saves me having 2 lots of pattern paper in the one pocket. And then again, this cut apart sheet comes to the rescue, and this little sentiment here says "This was amazing." So I'm just going to use that at the bottom of this card as well, and pop that on as an extra embellishment. So yeah, I've done a mixture of handwritten journaling on the other side and typed journaling on this side, and I quite like the mix of the two. And then next up onto this last card, so I'm just auditioning some pieces of ephemera here to decide, and I actually decide on this heart, and I just staple that directly onto the photo. I'm not that precious about worrying about stapling stapling into my photos directly. So I'm just going to pop that back into the album, and then I'm going to show you how I add in the room key as well. So it came in a little wallet like this, and I quite like adding things outside the page protectors as well as inside. So this is a handy little trick where I'm just looping around some twine around the top 2 rings, and then I'm just going to tie that off into a double knot to keep it nice and secure in there, and that will flip. You can flip that over in the album just like you would a page protector. And then I'm going to add on this inflatable ephemera that again is from the same collection, this little globe, which I think is super cute. And I think that's pretty much done. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time for some more travel themed scrapbooking. See you soon. Bye.